Dark Brandon is here to stay. And his speech last night was a big effing deal. Welcome to MOMocrats MOMochat, part of the DemCast family of podcasts. I'm Donna Schwartz Mills with Karoli and Aliza Worthington of crooksandliars.com. And I don't know about you guys, I had to have a prop today.
I think that's great.
Today. That's my husband.
Hi, Dave.
But
Cute prop.
I want your prop.
I know, he's a cute prop.
I know.
He's a prop that brings me alcohol.
We're doing this instead of decaf, but I'm drinking decaf.
Okay.
But it looks more and more like he's gonna get
he's effed.
When you have Bill Barr going on Fox News to explain to Fox News viewers why it is that he's fucked up, it's a good day. That happened today. He went on Fox News and basically said, as far as declassification, he said if he stood over the documents and declassified them in bulk, he said that's even more irresponsible than taking them in the first place. And he said the DOJ was justified in the search warrant because he was jacking him around. And I mean, yeah, it was interesting enough that Barr said it, but that he said it on Fox News would tell me that there's definitely an interest in Fox kind of distancing themselves from Trump after this. But I mean, to me, the thing that is, well, I guess we should go back because it's like a week ago. Let's see, it was. So Mar-a-Lago had been searched, but we didn't have
was searched in the like, what was it, August 9th or something? It was the beginning of
August 8th. It was searched.
Right.
Yeah. And little bits and pieces have been dribbling out.
Yeah.
Right.
And we discovered that, that all of these classified documents were recovered. Right. And then after we had our podcast last week, we discovered that in October 2021, the intelligence community put out a warning saying that an unusual number of our spies were being killed, compromised.
Remember who talked about that on the podcast last week?
Yeah.
All of us?
Yeah. Right.
And then over the weekend, that judge in Florida that Trump shopped for indicated that she was going to grant his special master request.
Right.
But that opened up the door for the DOJ to appeal. and we get that photo.
It opened up the DOJ to, I'm sorry, say that again, to appeal.
Appeal information that had been redacted.
Right.
Yeah.
So, some of the things we did not yet know. Like exactly how much of the documents, how many classified documents were found.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And that evidence photo. And there's just something so visceral about seeing those classified top secret folders
just
on that awful carpet. And
I don't know what's worse, the crime or the carpet.
Yeah, honestly.
What's more of a crime?
And the empty
we
top
found
secret and classified folders.
We found that out today, right?
Right. Today.
That was the most recent thing, which
it explodes, right?
Yeah.
That.
I mean, the enumeration of how many of these folders were marked top secret and how many folders
not just top secret, SCI.
Give back to the military.
Yeah. So
so I have a question about that. So the folders that are empty, does the DOJ or the FBI, do they know what was supposed to be in them?
No.
So we don't even.
I don't know that I don't think we can say no to that. I think we might know, or they might know.
They might know.
They're not telling us.
Yeah, obviously.
Right.
Which is fine. Like, I'm not saying we should know, but I'm just curious if they know what they're looking for. If they know what
they might know some of it. but they don't. There's a lot they don't know.
Because I didn't have a chance to look over that to read about it too carefully today.
I was trying to figure out whether, like, I was looking for a non-nefarious explanation for empty folders. And I thought, to myself, is it possible that in the first tranche of documents they turned over in June or whenever, that they just scooped up a bunch of paper and turned it over with it not being in folders?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that, but why would you take it out of the folders? I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Like, why wouldn't you just hand it back with the folder that you're supposed to have done that with?
I've heard speculation that he looked at the material and tossed it in the toilet.
Okay.
Well, hard,
But no, I can't think of anything non-nefarious.
I can't either, especially given the way they were stored in with all this other crap. It's not even like he had an organizational system for stuff. Like,
right. And I saw some on Twitter speculate that the magazines were like he would put the documents in the magazines to distribute to somebody without the.
Oh,
that's how he would hide. That's how he hid what.
Wow.
Holy
shit! I hope that's not right.
Impossible.
The other thing that
what a criminal mastermind.
Well, actually, that's so simple. It's stupid, right? Yeah. I mean, stick it in a magazine. Here's a magazine with me on the cover. Isn't that cool? Right. Passing the documents. That's an interesting thought. The other thing I saw was somebody, there's a Russian oligarch whose DOJ raided his homes today. And they were correlating that with these documents. So, I mean, you start to think about what could have happened, what might have happened, what might, and it's just mind-boggling. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, I think I saw Sue Gordon, the former deputy DNI, was on Nicole Wallace earlier this week, and she was amazing. It was a 25-minute interview, and I learned more in that 25 minutes than I had ever known before. But one of the things that she said was, that you have to assume now that everything is compromised. That because
absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And that's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible and it's terrifying. It's awful. So
and yet these people want to give it another round.
Oh yeah, they want him back in.
They want him back in. They still think that they're going to win the House and the Senate. They're going to do all they can to do that, and that includes cheating. And Kevin McCarthy is already planning all of these stupid hearings that they're going to have as retaliation.
Well, I'd just like to say that Kevin McCarthy is counting his speakership before it's hatched in several different ways. So, I mean, we can talk about the fact that we would like to hold on to the House and are going to work very hard for that. And hello, Mary Peltola, new Congresswoman.
Yes.
Bye-bye, Sarah Palin. Bye-bye.
Yes.
So oh my goodness, the squawking about the ranked choice voting.
Oh,
okay. And can we just say that the Republicans, this is what they did in California too, right? Republicans wanted open primaries in California because they said they thought that it was they would have more chance at electing more Republicans, and the opposite has happened, right? Democrats have been elected and overwhelmingly in numbers. Well, the same thing now is true with the ranked choice voting in Alaska. They thought they had it nailed, that they were going to be able to just elect Republicans and Democrats would become irrelevant. And in fact, it makes it more likely that a Democrat will be elected and that state won't be quite so red. So there are Democrats in Alaska.
I'm sorry, this was a special election because Don Young passed away.
Yes.
Is that right?
Right.
And so
voting again in November.
And they're going again in November, right?
Yes,
okay.
Right. And Sarah Palin's
locked and loaded, baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's ready. She's ready. She's ready for another round.
And November.
I'd just like to say that I mean, of the 3 candidates, right, she received the fewest votes.
Yes.
And definitely in the ranked choice was she down at the bottom. So good luck with that, Sarah. You know, one way or the other, it
turns out that Alaskans do not like governors who bug out
quit.
on the term halfway through to go be on reality TV.
And maybe they also don't like stupid people.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I can see Russia from my house. And the only people I know that could say that would probably be people that live next door to Mar-a-Lago. But, you know, that's
We're in Trump Tower.
right. Exactly. So, yeah. So, I mean, Alaskans basically did this ranked choice voting, and I'm not clear on how theirs is structured, but it worked for them. And I'll say it with this caveat: I think in a state like Maine or Alaska, probably Wyoming, Arizona, you know, well, I'm not sure about Arizona. I think it works in those states because they're low population states.
I was going to ask you that because it's not the
same.
Can you
imagine how long it would take to count the votes in California?
We would be months in the California and New York. I mean, we would be months counting votes. It would be crazy. So no.
It didn't take months didn't they do it for mayor in New York? I mean, obviously I don't live in New York anymore. So
but it did take weeks.
But it took a long time, and it took weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, there's what 13 million people in New York City at least.
Yeah.
Right. It's
and on the record, you know, the top 2 primary thing. I hate the one in California.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I do too.
That when you live in a district where you are outnumbered by Republicans, that November comes and you don't have a Democrat to vote for.
Right.
And
I'm sure Republicans hate that they don't have a Republican to vote for in districts that have 2 Democrats running. So, you know, and the redistricting commission does try to make that more balanced.
Yeah.
They do, but the problem is, and this, if I were titling this podcast, it would be this statement, which is the Republican Party is a crime ring. It's an organized crime ring, and we can prove it. We have all the facts to prove it. And that's the problem with California being Democratic the way it is because they've done that out here. They like criminally registered voters and or thrown voter registrations away for Democrats. Mm-hmm. They've proven over and over again that they're just grifty crime ring.
If you can't win on ideas,
right?
They can't. Right.
Yeah, that's what they do. You know, so from Donald Trump all the way down to the local elections, Republicans prove themselves over and over again to be
criminals. And I mean, I'm sure, I know we're going to get to this, but you know, Biden said it very well last night is, you know, you cannot be a patriot if you only believe your party has has either won or been cheated.
Right.
You know, those are the only 2 options.
Right.
That you can't believe in democracy and have those be your only 2 choices that you think can have happened.
Right.
And that's, you know, that's how they think now.
And
that's how they purport to think. That's how their leaders go out and behave. And in order to prevent that from happening, they make rules that are illegal and unfair and unconstitutional,
undemocratic,
unpatriotic. And you know, they're trying to skew the system so that it you know, it plays footsie with fascism, if not outright. It's not footsie. You're right. They're just, you know, plain old man gets in bed with it. Gets in bed with fascism. You know, it's just what. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't, you know, I shouldn't tiptoe around it. Speaking of playing footsie,
especially Stark Brandon isn't anymore.
Yeah. It's great. It's great to see. You know, and we have Dark Merrick now, and now I'm wondering if we have Dark Bill Barr you know, going on Fox. I didn't know that he did that.
Always dark.
He was always dark, and I don't want to claim him for our side or whatever.
Yeah,
but
don't.
If he's going on Fox, and Fox is, you know, like what do you think that pretends for? You know, for Fox News to be recognizing that maybe they need to start, and Steve Doocy starting to distance themselves from Trump's crimes.
When Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham do it, then I will say Fox has divested themselves. But
is that even a good thing? Do we want Fox to try to move more mainstream? Is that going to help, or do we want them to?
I mean, let's not kid ourselves. They're hedging their bets. They're not going to ever have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Tucker Carlson.
They're not going to get rid of any of those people.
They're not going to get rid of them. They're going to do what they do. And I mean, Tucker Carlson is at the forefront of the fascist movement. So let's not give Fox News any credit for giving Bill Barr airtime to actually tell the truth about a thing. Because
that's what I wonder, like, are they trying to actually convince their viewers of the truth in any way?
They're hedging.
What Bill Barr to say that?
They what?
Yeah.
They
didn't invite him to say that.
Oh, okay.
He said it anyway.
They expected him to say other things. Okay.
Right.
I didn't realize that.
To follow the party line.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, the way CNN is doing.
Right. And this is my worry. I know, Karoli. I know. It's your former
NBC is the only thing left for us.
That CNN has gone
really
Fox Light, and this is very bad. This is very bad. And
you know, when John Harwood
got fired today.
He wasn't fired. Yeah.
He was being.
They terminated this contract 30 days ago, so he wasn't fired today, but he went out with a bang
last night because his tweet. He was the only person from CNN tweeting positive things about the Biden speech last night. I'm going, oh my God, he's on his way out, and then he announced it today.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. So explain to me the difference.
He had a contract that they terminated 30 days ago. So it wasn't in a response to him being positive about Biden. It was just that they terminated him. They terminated Brian Stelter. Right. All these, they're all known out.
Them is not the same thing as firing them?
No, they're contractors.
Okay, so the contract ends and they don't renew it.
Well, no, he had a multi-year contract.
Yeah, but they can buy out the contract. Yeah. They can they can decide that they're going to cut back on personnel. I mean, that happens all the time. CNN goes through these things about once every 10 years, and it's never good for them. And they finally kind of see the light, and they come back. Yeah, exactly. And they come back to, reality again. And
because of the Republicans are only in the Fox Newsmax universe, and the people who are watching CNN are the independents, centrists, and liberals. They are alienating everybody else right now.
Right.
Their ratings are not going to get better with this.
No, they're not. I mean, I used to actually prefer CNN in the morning through about to John King. I mean, basically at noon Eastern when John King came on, I was done. Yeah. But that would be my preferred morning lineup. I have not been.
Same here.
I have not been able to tolerate them at all.
Well, Brianna Keilar even went so far as, again, to come back to Joe Biden's speech.
Oh my goodness, there were Marines standing.
There were Marines standing behind him. Don't politicize the military.
Standing behind the president. I mean,
so the thing that's the worst about that is, and it was Parker Malloy that pointed this out, is that first they created this narrative. So Brianna Keilar and who I can't remember who the other one was, Jeff Zeleny, both tweeted out right at the end of the speech, this major speech where the president denounced the creeping fascism that's coming over the Republican Party, where he named it, he called it out as MAGA Republicans.
MAGA Republicanism.
Super major speech. And the first reaction from both of these major CNN personalities is he had Marines behind him. And that set the whole tone. So what is Karine Jean-Pierre asked about today?
Yeah.
In her press conference?
Oh,
the
gee,
Marines. Not the content of the speech, the Marines.
Right.
It's so annoying. I got to get some water.
Go. So we've got a new doozy in the White House.
Oh, is there? I haven't been watching the
CNN guy was the new doozy today.
Who's the new guy?
Whoever that was from CNN asking that question.
Yeah. I haven't been watching, so I haven't been watching the press conferences because
that was Jeremy Diamond.
Okay.
I have
and he's always been bad
now.
As you guys know, I don't have CNN. Oh, kitty.
Hello, kitty.
Now I'm not so upset about not having CNN.
Really? Yeah, you shouldn't be. I mean, it's definitely not on my top 5 anymore. So it's really bad.
Then why didn't the 3 big networks carry it?
You know what? I totally thought they did.
A president gives a primetime speech and they interrupt programming and cover it, and they did not last night.
That's outrageous.
It was to me. I felt like that was unpatriotic, to be honest with you. Like, if the president speaks, what if he's talking about, like, you know, a national security threat or Russia loading up nukes or something like that? They didn't know.
He was only talking. Well, yes, they did. They knew he was going to be talking about the threat to democracy that this hyper-partisanship posed.
But that's the criticism that he is getting. Ooh, it was partisan.
And that's
but it wasn't partisan.
It's partisan.
It's only partisan if you're pro-insurrection.
Right.
Hello.
It's only partisan if you're pro-fascist. And it's like but I mean, that's why the networks didn't cover it, is because they don't give a shit.
Unless it's Trump.
But I mean, when Dave asked me, you know, like when I was like, okay, it was like a few minutes before 8 and we were watching, you know, the O's, and I was like, oh, I want to switch to, you know, I want to watch Biden in a few minutes. And he's like, what channel? And I was like, probably any channel, but, you know, let's go with MSNBC and whatever, because I knew Ellen Mistal was going to probably be on it. And so we just went to MSNBC, and I didn't find out until later that the regular networks, but, you know, my gut reaction was probably any channels covering it. Like, who wouldn't cover you know, this is a big deal. This is a primetime speech. I couldn't believe
tried to watch it on CBS.
I couldn't believe it.
You know, it's not there. I'm looking at the guide, and no. Okay, MSNBC.
Right, Maggie? Maggie couldn't believe it either.
I was shocked that they didn't run it on the major networks. I really feel like that, like, there should be some requirement that you run a president's speech. And I'm thinking about, well, if there was, what would they have had to run of Trump's? But then I thought they did run Trump's.
They did. They ran them all.
I mean, they did all that.
Empty podium at his rallies,
because they knew that at any moment that Trump done something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, all his shit was crazy, but I mean, they knew that at any point, you know, because that's newsworthy, and that's ratings. You know, that's going to get ratings. They're in it for the ratings. They're not in it for the news.
No.
Right.
And that's
they no longer have a requirement to serve the public interest.
No. Or you know, a financial interest in serving the public interest. And that's, you know, the financial interest is coming up against the public interest. And that's where.
But serving the public interest used to be part of their licensing.
I know. And that's a problem.
Yeah.
It is a problem.
Not anymore. It is a problem.
No.
Yeah. No, it really is. I mean, and I don't know how many people watch those mainstream networks in those hours anymore. I think everything is so fragmented, but damn.
Streamed.
I mean,
via
the president gave a speech. The president of the United States gives a speech. As citizens, we should be listening.
You know, that used to be on blast everywhere. You couldn't avoid it when the president decided to give a speech.
Right. You know, if you were sitting in a bar, you saw it.
Right.
You know, wherever you were. Now it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be like too cranky about this, but I am cranky about it.
I'm cranky about it. I mean, I hope that they suffered in some way. I mean, I don't know how they would have, but I mean,
they don't, because we have such a disengaged population, which is hard for the three of us to understand because we're so engaged. But
the thing is, people are disengaged because they're actually encouraged to be disengaged. I mean,
yes.
I don't want to hear people say to me, "Oh, well, I don't really pay attention to politics." If they do, they're going to get an earful from me, right? About, you damn well better,
Right. You're showing your fucking privilege if you act like you're not engaged in politics. Either that or your stupidity.
Well,
right.
Because marginalized folks who aren't engaged, do so at their own peril. And white folks who aren't engaged are doing it because they're fucking selfish, privileged pieces of crap.
Yeah,
and they know they're going to be fine no matter what.
Yeah, so they'll get fine.
Yeah, they're going to be fine.
So, wow, we kind of went all over the place in this first 25 minutes, didn't we?
The speech was very
It was wonderful.
And as Karoli was saying, I don't know if you said it when we started the broadcast or if this was before the broadcast, but you can gauge how good the speech was by the MAGA tears that have been shed ever since.
My goodness. Oh my goodness.
Times he mentioned them by name alone was so beautiful. And there's this meme that's been going around that it's white print on a black background, and it's so perfect and so simple, and it's just like, MAGA, fuck you, and then Democrats, fuck you too, and MAGA, what? Like they can't when we stand up to them. God forbid. And that's what it was. That's what last night was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And he was, of course, decent literally to a fault.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I say to a fault because I really believe that.
You wouldn't know that from the reaction.
Not all Republicans. There are, he says, I personally know Republicans, my friends on the other side. And he's so generous and, flexible in his thinking that he will truly, I'm sure he believes in his heart that there are, other lots of Republicans like Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney, and that who really care about the nation, even if they, will tell marginalized people that, they can go fly a kite. But I have my own issues about why I have a big problem with that, but just,
if you're looking to prioritize.
He even did that. He even gave mainstream Republicans, people who don't want to hang on to that mainstream brand, he gives them an off-ramp, and he gives them an elegant, dignified off-ramp.
Yes. Yeah. And the thing
is,
I
mean, go ahead.
With all the problems, all the social issues that we have in this country, I think the biggest priority is holding on to our democracy.
Yeah,
it showed up in that poll.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's energizing the left, not the far left, because they don't, horseshoe and everything, but it's and we can take care of the economy and everything else.
Hello. Wow. We had a great jobs report today. Was it today or yesterday?
Today.
Good jobs report today.
Decent inflation report.
Decent inflation report. And I know that the Fed is waiting to see what's going on, but we've had gas prices going down and shipping prices are going down. Those are two of the things that have been fueling the inflation.
$3.55 this morning at a gas station in my neighborhood, and it was like $4.99 a month and a half ago.
Yeah, I'm still paying $5.50, but
I know. Sorry. I mean, again,
but we think it's a bargain.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm just that's why I said for reference a month and a half ago, $4.99 down to $3.55 in the space of 6 weeks or whatever. That's huge.
It happened. There's still pressures with what's happening in Ukraine and Russia.
Housing is also is a big issue.
It's just crazy.
And you're really affected by that, Karoli.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I know a lot of people who are.
Yeah. Well, it's not just
sorry.
It's not just a California issue anymore. It's all over the country.
Right.
But Gavin Newsom has signed some bills into law to tackle that. So
so we'll see what happens.
At least they are trying to do.
What did he do to tackle? Are you talking about housing? Gavin Newsom did?
There's some new bills there were 2 new bills passed in this legislative session that just got signed into law. And to ease the permitting, to make it easier to allow the other laws on the books to take effect. Because right now you've got the local communities doing all they can to circumvent the laws that allow denser housing. Because property owners don't want to share.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So, I mean, so those are still things that are going on, but they're slowly being tackled and dealt with. But like Donna said at the beginning of this, is that the fascism is the main thing. Yeah. And so it was very important for Biden to call it out. It was also important for him to call it out by name, to call it out by, as fascism, and listening to them just scream and yell as if they've never called the left fascist, as if they've never called us, commie pinkos, socialists, pigs.
Marjorie Sporkfoot like as soon as his speech was over, sent out a meme that had Trump, that had Biden like with a Hitler mustache and behind him. So it's absurd.
And Trump did a Truth Social, saying that Biden seemed like he had dementia. I'll tell you, Biden was excellent. His delivery was excellent.
Yes, it was.
Especially with the heckler. Oh my God. And Elie Mystal said after the speech, and he's so right. He's like, if you can't tell the difference, if you don't see the miles wide, the light years difference between Democrats and Republicans and the way Biden responded to that heckler and the way Trump would have responded and saying, it is his right to be outrageous.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
What a perfect embodiment of what free speech is about.
Yes.
And what Trump would have done, had the same.
He did all the time.
And then, of course, other people were not wrongly bringing up, how'd that guy get so close, But it doesn't matter. The point is, Biden's an adult. He can handle it when someone's heckling him. His ego.
Obama was always great with it too. When he'd get heckled in his rallies.
President of the United States, you better be able to handle a little heckler. Like you better be able to handle.
Yeah.
Some yahoo on the street with a bullhorn.
Yeah. I've seen Nancy Pelosi when I've been in the audience with her live. And she gets heckled. She handles those hecklers great too. She doesn't.
Oh, I'll bet she's amazing.
It's part of politics.
And O'Rourke too.
Hecklers, right? There's going to be hecklers because that's part of engaging with the entire electorate.
That's right.
Yeah,
and he said that last night too.
The ones who don't allow dissent.
He emphasized that last night again. I'm president of the entire United States. I'm not president just of the blue United States, of the blue and the red. Democrats and I'm everybody's president.
The MAGA Republicans are a threat to our existence. They are domestic terrorists as well as a crime syndicate.
Right. It's true.
Because Sarah Kendzior has been saying that forever about Trump in general, about Trump and his family But you really can extend it out.
Being called fascists. And they just had Viktor Orban at CPAC.
Right.
And they're calling us fascists, right?
Right.
Because we
not only did they have him, they applauded him. They stood up and they want to emulate him.
They
and
had
so, yes,
a banner on the stage that said, "We are all terrorists now."
Right. I mean, at least they admit it.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a change, I agree with them.
Yeah.
Like good. Wow. This is like a rare point of
of agreement.
We're on in with them. Yeah, you guys are.
Anyway, if you haven't seen the speech, it is great. You should go. You should listen to it. It's online.
We have it on our site.
Yep, it's on Crooks and Liars. It was live streamed. Pretty much any major speech like that, you can go to Crooks and Liars and watch it. It's going to be live streamed.
So it's Labor Day weekend.
Yes, it is.
Traditional beginning of the final push in election season.
Yep.
And at the beginning of the summer, everybody was writing us off.
Yep.
And
I'm feeling pretty cautiously optimistic, right?
Well, after Dobbs, it's like every special election that we've had after Dobbs, the Democrats outperformed expectations, and we've outright won some of those. After the
just in turnout alone. I mean, aside from that, we've won, but just like the turnout's been
just in voter registrations,
which shows that when we show up, we win. That's the big thing.
And young women are driving that.
Right.
That they're the greatest group, the largest group that's registering and voting. So, I mean, I have some real optimism about that too. It feels a little bit like we're moving in the 2006. You remember the 2006 election was a big wave election.
Right.
It feels like that.
Kevin McCarthy, we don't want to count our majorities before they're hatched.
No. We definitely don't want to.
We have to continue to be cautious. We have to continue to push. We have to treat it like it was when everybody was writing us off.
No, absolutely.
Kevin McCarthy has a two-pronged problem because, I mean, first of all,
besides the fact that he's stupid,
they might not win. But second of all, God forbid they do win. I'm not convinced he would be the one named speaker.
No. Well, that's what I was trying to say when I said he shouldn't count as speakership before it's hatched, is that even if they win the majority, Jim Jordan is, standing there ready to challenge him. And
at the bit.
I don't think that it will be as easy as Kevin McCarthy thinks.
No.
Yep, I agree with you.
I mean, and Elise Stefanik too.
God.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how powerful Trump is at the time. If Trump is indicted, it's that awful paradox of, the more we actually enforce the law against him, the more powerful he becomes.
No, he thinks he becomes. That's not true.
The more more emboldened his psycho core becomes.
Right. But
his base, his crazed whatever, you know what I'm saying?
But that's no reason to let him get away with it.
No, I understand that. However, if Elise Stefanik has become, the MAGA faithful, and and he's still pulling the strings in the Republican Party, if he's been indicted by then and they win the House, then there's a really good chance. If he wants her to be the speaker, then she has completely become, she's just, succumbed and turned herself over.
Don't forget.
She would be so utterly incompetent as Speaker of the House. God. It wouldn't even be funny.
I mean, it would and it wouldn't. But I mean,
that you don't forget them pointing out that the speaker doesn't necessarily have to be someone elected to Congress. And they talked about making Trump speaker.
Right, Trump will be speaker. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's not happening.
That's not going to happen. I think that
he wouldn't even want to be.
I think even the most MAGA faithful have enough survival instinct to not be Trump speaker.
No, they don't.
No?
Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Louis Gohmert. I mean,
they're the fringe.
They don't have 4 brain cells between them. So,
I mean,
Trump wants to be the leader of the Republican Party. He doesn't want to worry about procedure and rules and shit like that. He doesn't want anything.
He was president and he didn't worry about procedure.
Yeah.
He didn't read the presidential daily briefing. He didn't do any of the shit he had to do as president.
Right. And that's my point.
He wouldn't have to worry about it if he was speaker either. He just wouldn't do it.
But Congress wouldn't function.
He would
be exactly.
He would have no power if he can't figure out how to make Congress function. It's like having a car and no key. I mean, if you don't know how to get the car started, you're not going to have any success with it. So.
But he'd be third in line, and so all MAGA has to do is kill the other 2.
Oh, God. Thank you, Donna. Now I'm going to have nightmares about that.
You don't think they haven't thought of that?
Oh, yeah.
I just don't have that evil of a mind, I guess. I wouldn't, but I'm sure they have.
They do, but it's hard to hear the words. But yeah, I mean, you're right. I have thought about it. I mean, there's multiple.
There's scary stuff in the air.
Multiple stuff that how many plots have been thwarted that we don't even know about.
I don't even want to think about it.
This is why we do not want to defund the FBI, right?
Against the second couple, the first Black and the first Jew that close to the president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, there may be abuses by the FBI, and there certainly have been abuses by the FBI, but we do not want to defund the FBI.
No, thank you.
No, we don't. Especially when we have the Secret Service in this weird place right now.
Oh, yes. So Ornato all of a sudden retired.
Oh, please explain. Because again, honestly, I'm not as up to date as I used to be.
He was the Secret Service guy who Trump brought on.
Right. I know that much.
And then, as the deputy chief of staff. Right.
And then so he was witness to a lot of the January 6th stuff.
And he's the one who told Cassidy Hutchinson, right, about what went on in the
Biden came in. He was shifted back to Secret Service.
Right.
And so they've been trying to get him to come in for another interview because of all that new information they got from Cassidy Hutchinson and others. And he's been hemming and hawing, and all of a sudden he retires, which, he says he's going to cooperate, but by retiring, it means he cannot be compelled as a federal employee to come in.
So,
and of course,
a subpoena has no impact on him? A subpoena has no impact on him?
I don't know that they subpoenaed him because they could compel him while he was in the Secret Service. Yeah. So they had an appointment set, and 2 days before the appointment, he bailed out. Yeah. And this is after calling Cassidy Hutchinson a liar, and putting all these statements out into the everywhere, basically saying that Cassidy Hutchinson lied, that none of that happened, blah, blah, blah. So they're like, well, come in and, tell us your version under oath. And of course, then he retired. Oh, hi, my husband just walked in, if you're wondering what that.
False, right? That Cassidy Hutchinson lied, right? Like that's,
Okay.
So he retired, it appears, to avoid having to come in, to being compelled to come into the January 6th committee.
Right. So we'll see what happens with him and with the lost texts.
Yeah.
But then came the news, yesterday, I think, that they want Newt Gingrich to come in.
Yeah.
Yes. What beautiful country is that?
Because he was behind, he was involved in all of these television ads that promoted the big lie.
Right.
So they haven't subpoenaed him. They're just asking him to come in right now, but we'll see where
Newt
that
Gingrich, come on down.
Folks, how many months has it been since anyone has seen anything of Mark Meadows?
We should start a ticker, shouldn't we?
Yes.
When's the last time we saw Mark Meadows? It's been 302 days since we saw Mark Meadows last.
Right.
So, I mean, I really think he may be one of the sources.
I think he might be too.
You think he's in hiding?
Mm-hmm.
Like
it
literally
wouldn't surprise me.
I think he's talking. I think he's
singing like a bird.
Yep. One of the things that I thought was interesting, in line with that, was that in the DOJ narrative about why they got the search warrant and why they went in and did all that, they talked about the fact that after they got those June documents, they developed information that not all of the classified documents were turned over. Right. And to me, that suggests that it had to be somebody who was talking to them who knew what documents were there.
Right.
And knew that they
had to look at them and say, this isn't everything.
Right. And that would suggest Mark Meadows.
Yeah.
And they did mention civilian sources that's all they said.
That's
was civilian sources. So, I mean, that could be Mark Meadows. It could be Secret Service. It could be,
Jared.
Jared. I know.
Jared is such a pill. He wouldn't do that. I'm sorry. He would be forever and ever a Trumper unless he could absolutely. He is such a jerk. I'm sorry. I just like the whole thing with whining that he said that, what he said to the January 6th committee. I'm just like, okay, you're done. You're a jerk.
His book? How pathetic.
Oh, his pathetic book.
Remember Ivanka's little Instagram post? I'm so proud of my husband. He wrote a book.
He sat down and he typed some things. And he didn't. He didn't. I mean,
ghostwriter. Give me a break.
Totally
had a ghostwriter.
And as it is, it's been very poorly reviewed. It's not a good book.
And the RNC just bought up all the books so they could give them out at all the fucking CPAC events.
Of course.
Yep. Yeah.
Because that's how they get to #1 on the New York Times list.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a technique.
It is.
It works for them.
It does.
But it's stupid. I mean, it makes me not trust basically anything on the New York Times bestseller list because why would I? If if anybody can game it. So, but yeah, they've been doing that for years. The other thing they do that I discovered when I was researching healthcare reform is they set up these little pop-up websites that are supposedly like, journalism. They're not, but they're just a place to put ads for the books. So the people that have these websites, and I think they must be college students, for example, that do them, get paid by the RNC to put the book ads on their site so that they can gain Google ads.
Right.
They get paid to create a website so that there can be ads on the side.
That's a standard search engine optimization cheat.
Yeah, There's
a lot of people who do that.
Yeah. But the thing that I was always struck by was that they'd put the ads for the current books on like Newt Gingrich, whatever book he had at the time would always be in those ads and stuff. So they buy ads for the site, and it optimizes the search engine, and it subsidizes some college Republican.
These people are expert at astroturfing, creating shell companies and organizations and shady little things, all over the place,
Speaking of shady little things, can we just talk about Ginny Thomas?
She was next on my list. That was the last little bit on Jason.
She appears to have an interest in Wisconsin. Does she not?
She does. She definitely does. So yeah,
I mean, you think she's ever been to Wisconsin?
I have not.
Do you think she's never been?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
I mean, she was born in Kansas.
She's from.
So yeah, I mean, I'm sure she's been all over the Midwest. So, but yeah, I mean, so we have Arizona and Wisconsin. How long is it going to be before we find out that she also was intervening in Michigan? I mean, basically, and Georgia.
And Georgia.
And yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to find out that she's there. And to me, I mean, I know that you agree with me on this. This is just outrageous. It's fucking outrageous that we have the wife of a Supreme Court justice who, by their own admission, they're best friends. They share everything. They might mind meld. Yeah. And everything, you know, that she's doing this, and he's on high going to rule on shit that she's done. I mean, it's so immoral.
Yeah.
That makes me mad.
Well, take that anger, use it to promote Democrats, vote. Let's get our bigger majorities, and then let's change things.
Let's kick some ass and take some names.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
we need to rebalance.
The best thing to do is to help with voter registration and getting voters to the polls, like literally transporting voters to the polls, if you can get involved in that. And doing things like writing postcards to purple districts. You don't have to live in a district that's purple in order to have an impact.
Right.
Swing, you know, things are so close this year. We have such a razor thin majority in the House. I feel, you know, fairly good about the Senate, but I mean, I just feel like there's a website called Sister District, which you can do on your own time. It's very easy. You can do it from your house. You don't have to, you know, a neighbor of mine was like, oh my God, I was going to sign up to do postcards, but I had to go to somebody's house and I have to do it on Wednesday nights and I work and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, do Sister District, because you can just sign up. Yeah, they vet you. I mean, they're gonna ask you to upload postcard examples of what you would write, you know, because they want to make sure you're not a nut job and that, you know, you have legible handwriting. But yeah, do things like that. There are things you can do, and they will pair you up with a nearby district that is swingable,
and they'll give you the addresses.
Give you all the addresses. You can do it on your own time. So if you have insomnia at 4 a.m, you can write 30 postcards. And it's
cards that I use.
It's the easiest thing in the world. If anything, it's a reminder to people. It's an encouragement. You know, you can, if you're comfortable driving, you can sign up to drive senior citizens in your area. If anything, these last few special elections have shown us is that when we show up, we win.
Yep. Yeah.
And it seems to me that like the best thing my parents ask me regularly, what can we do? What can we do? Who should we donate to? And the thing is, you know, the real impact is getting people to the polls, getting them there.
Yeah. Yep. The get out the vote effort is,
you know, this is as important, if not more important, than 2024.
And by the way, that's also true in states that are vote by mail. I mean, people still need to be reminded to actually do the thing and bring their ballots to a drop box.
The last batch of postcards I did, the script that they had was to remind people to vote by mail.
Yeah.
So,
because COVID's not going away.
No.
Well, it's not.
I had it a month ago.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's just, you know, like here in Washington State and Oregon State, those are all vote by mail states. So everybody gets a ballot, but that doesn't mean everybody casts a ballot. So that's it's following up to make sure that they actually do fill out their ballot and get it in the mail or get it in a drop box. You know.
And vote by mail is wonderful because they can't employ their intimidation tactics that they are increasingly doing.
Wasn't there, please help me because my mind's a little fuzzy right now. Recently, a court decision that that strengthened the vote by mail. Wasn't there a challenge to vote by mail either in Wisconsin or
In one of the states?
one of those
Well,
states?
in Pennsylvania, there was a challenge to it, but the challenge is, besides it being fucking bogus, it's
I mean, yeah, but
they basically the challenge was that they didn't date their ballot when they signed
Right.
it, but the
Right.
ballot was received before Election Day.
Right.
So,
right. So
they're trying to disqualify these
I'm talking
undated
about
ballots.
2022.
About the whole
I'm
idea
talking about the upcoming. Wasn't there a challenge to the fact that there were states that were going to have? There was a state that was going to have vote by mail and didn't, somebody challenged that. And there was a disability aspect to it. I feel like someone
That's Wisconsin.
It was Wisconsin. That's what I thought. And the judge ruled that because of the ADA, they had to keep their vote by mail ballot boxes, so that people with disabilities could vote by mail. So that, that was a really good decision.
It is.
Right. Yeah, it was Wisconsin.
God for Mark Elias and his crew,
Right. But I mean, the whole idea of them challenging it at all is just a little bit, but that's what they're going to do because they figured out that voting by mail is bad for Republicans.
Right.
Now. And which is interesting because here in California, it was always the other way around, right? It was always Republicans that voted by mail and the rest of us showed up on an election day.
Until Trump.
Is that right?
Republicans always benefited from voting by mail. It was always Republicans that did it. And then Trump discredit, that he's a very powerful
He blew it up.
We've got 4 minutes left. I'd like to end on a positive.
Okay.
Yes, me too.
So
I thought that was a positive. We got a good result in this lawsuit.
This week, President Michelle Obama will be at the White House for the official unveiling of their presidential portraits that Trump refused to allow when he was president.
They're so beautiful.
This should have been done during the Trump administration.
Right.
And
wasn't.
Fucking fascist who tried to erase their existence was not gracious enough to do it.
You know what? I would rather Biden do it.
Me too.
It's so much better. I can't wait for the coverage. I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see Barack and Joe together again.
I know, me too.
When's that happening?
The 6th.
Yeah, I think that's the date I think I have.
I think that's Tuesday.
Yeah.
So that'll be great.
Oh, those are so beautiful, those portraits too.
Aren't they?
I know. They really are.
I'm still upset I couldn't see them when they were on tour.
I know. They were on our coast when we were on their coast.
You couldn't get it.
No.
Oh, you can get a ticket? Yeah.
You couldn't get a ticket. They were full. I tried. No. I really wanted to go. They were at LACMA and I really wanted to go. Could not get a ticket. And the last couple of minutes, how about that Serena?
Yay for her!
What happened last night? Because I was watching the Biden show. What happened with Serena and Venus?
Did they lose?
They lost. They lost in their first round. But
what's going on with Serena and the U.S. Open?
Well,
that's
she
a good
made
question.
It to the third round.
She made it to the next round.
She made it to the third round. Yeah.
The third round. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's happening now, right?
Oh, I should go turn it on.
Well, we know what Aliza's going to do right now.
Well, it's always between that and the O's because I am so psyched about the way the O's are doing. I gotta,
Yeah. So it's not. It's 7 p.m. So I would guess that's Eastern. So
that's in 40 minutes.
So about an hour.
Right.
In about an hour.
Right.
So that would be good and great for the O's. I, of course, am happy for the Dodgers. They've been doing
Dodgers
well.
are doing amazing. Yeah. That would be quite the matchup. But I mean, we're still trying to get in the wild card. We're only a couple games out, so we're still trying to.
Well, we still have a month. So
Dodgers seem unstoppable. They really do.
Well, the Mets did a good job on them this last series.
Listen, the Mets have Buck Showalter, so I don't even want to. I love Buck Showalter so much. He did so much. You what?
We have Mookie Betts. Anyway,
my first cat was named Mookie, so I don't want to hear it.
Okay. On that note, that is all for now. Join us next week at MOMocrats.buzzsprout.com. I can't believe I don't have that memorized yet. Our YouTube channel, or find us on your favorite podcast service such as iTunes, Google, and Amazon Music. And be sure to check our Facebook page for updates. This is Donna Schwartz Mills saying goodbye for the MOMocrats. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi.
MOMocrats MOMochat is part of the DemCast family of podcasts.